Hello everyone. So uh, today we will study about the equilibrium level. Okay, short run equilibrium level and output. So equilibrium you might have studied in class 11th also in microeconomics. So when does an economy comes in equilibrium? When demand is equals to supply. Okay, we have studied this in class 11th. So how we will determine the equal level? Okay, so according to Keynesian theory, an economy is in equilibrium when aggregate demand is equal to aggregate supply. Okay, and this we are studying this in short run. Okay, so you have to remember this thing, we are studying this thing in short run. So an economy will be in equilibrium when aggregate demand will be equal to aggregate supply. Means if the people of a country, of an economy, are demanding 100 units of commodity, then the supply will also be 100 units. Then in that case we will call it that our economy is in equilibrium. Okay, so aggregate demand and aggregate supply should be equal. Okay, now there are two methods. This thing is not much important, but the approaches are very important. So there are two approaches, AD and AS approach and I and S approach. So okay, so the first one is AD and AS approach, when aggregate demand will be equal to aggregate supply, and second approach is I and S. I means investment, as I said earlier, and S means savings. So when investment becomes equal to saving, then economy will attain equilibrium. Okay, so both the two methods are very and equally important. Okay, we cannot skip either of the method, we have to do both the methods. Okay, so today we will study the aggregate AD and AS approach. So our first approach is AD and AS approach. So the question will be like how you will determine the equilibrium in an economy using AD and AS approach, or it might be like discuss the AD and AS approach. Okay, and how you will restore the equilibrium. So these are things which might be asked in your question. The answer will be same here. Okay, so you don't have to panic, or you don't have to get confused at what I will write if the question comes in a different form. So if there is a question of AD and AS, then you have to write these things. You have to make the table, you have to make the diagram, and if there will be additional thing that how to restore, then we have to write 2-3 lines about the restoration. Okay, so first of all we will see what we will do. We will write the definition of AD AS, then we will make the table. Okay, the schedule is very important in this thing. So now what you will do, you will make the table of Y, income, and the value which we have taken here, the values are same as the previous one which we took in the MPS or MPC. Okay, you can match the values are same. Okay, so you have to keep the values same. Okay, whether it is AD AS approach and whether it is I and S approach, you have to take the same values, you don't have to change it. So we will take the income, Y means income, so 0, 100, 200, 300. So the difference between the income is same, the gap is same. Next thing we will take C means consumption, 40, 120, etc. Then I means investment, 40. This investment is same as I have told you earlier. This investment is same. Why? Because it is for the survival, it is not for the profit motive, and it is called autonomous investment. Okay, now the savings, we can find savings by subtracting income and consumption. So 0 minus 40 is minus 40, then minus 20. The values are same, as we have studied in the propensity to save. It's the values are same. Okay. Now how we will find AD? By adding C plus I. Okay, by adding C plus I. And how we will find AS? By adding C plus S. Okay, so you can write the formula. To find AD you have to add C plus I, and to find AS you have to add C plus S. Okay, it's simple. So investment you will write by your own, the values which I have taken here you have to take by your own. Values will not be given in your exam. Okay, values will not be given in your exam, you have to take by your own. Okay, so you don't have to mug up the values, you just have to understand the concept and you will get to know how to write the values. Okay, so we get here income, we took the consumption, we took the investment, we got the savings here. So now you have to add AD, you have to find AS. So how we will find AD? By adding C plus I. So 40 equals to 80, 120 plus 40 160, 200 plus 40 240, and so on. Okay, you can calculate the rest of the values. Now how we will find AS? By adding C plus S. So 40 and minus 40 0, 120 and minus 20 100, 200 minus 0 200, 280 plus 120 plus 20 300. Okay, and you can calculate the rest of the values. So now what we will see, we have find the AD, we have find the AS. Now we have to write the theoretical part. So here if you can see in this portion AD is greater than AS. Okay, so here AD is greater than AS. Here AD is equal to AS, and below that AD is less than AS. So from this table where we get the equilibrium? At this point, when our income was 400, we get the equilibrium here at 400. Okay, so here we will get AD is equal to AS, or we can say the equilibrium point. Okay, now we have to make the diagram here. The next thing is to make the diagram. So you don't have to do anything, you have to just see the values and you have to make the graph according to the values. Okay, so AS starts from 0, so it is starting from 0 here, and it is making the angle of 45. AD starts from 80, so we will start from here 80. Okay, we will not start from the origin, we will not draw the AD from the origin, we will draw the AD from the 80. The value is 80 here. Okay, so this portion is here. You can see AD is here and AS is here. So AD is at higher level, so here AD is greater than AS. This gap here, AS is at higher position than the AD, so AD is less than AS. Okay, now where the point where AD and AS meet here, okay, the E point, it is called equilibrium. Okay, so from the table itself you have to make the diagram, and you have to write a few points on the observation here, that AD curve shows the desired level of expenditure. Okay, the basic definition here, point E is the equilibrium point, because at this point level of desired spending and investment is equal. Okay, the AD and AS is equal, and this is shown by point E. Okay, OY is the level of output, OY is the level of output, this is O and this is Y. Okay, so you have to write 2-3 points here using the diagram or analyzing the diagram here. Equilibrium level of income is 400. you have to mention that equilibrium level is 400 when AD is equal to AS. Okay, and this when AD is equal to AS, it is called the situation of effective demand. Okay, so if the question comes that what is effective demand, it is a situation when AD is equal to aggregate supply. Okay, now if there is any deviation from the equilibrium level, a process of readjustment will start in the economy. Like we have seen here that AD was greater than here, AD was greater here, AD was smaller here. So when there is disequilibrium, then economy will automatically start the process of readjustment. Okay, so you have to write 3-4 points here using the diagram and the table. Okay, you can take the screenshot. Now the most important thing, you have made the diagram, you have made the table, and you have written the points, observation. Okay, now the question, if the question comes that how you will adjust, how you will correct the disequilibrium. Okay, so what you have to do, you have to write these 2 points here, which I will be telling you in the next few minutes. So if the question comes that what is the process of restoration when aggregate demand is greater than aggregate supply? Okay, this, if what you will do when this situation comes, this situation when AD is greater than AS, so what we will do, what an economy will do. So when demand is greater than supply, when demand is greater than supply, it means the people are demanding more, the people are demanding more. So to make the level equal, we have to boost the production. Okay, because the demand is of 100 but the supply is of 80, so you have to make this equal. How you will make this? By supplying more quantity. Okay, the customers are more but the supply is less, so you have to increase the supply. And how you will increase the supply? By increasing the production, and if production increases, the employment also increases. Okay, so how we will correct this situation when AD is greater than AS? By increasing the production, and this production will increase the employment level, and this process will continue till the point the equilibrium restores. Okay, this process of production, the process of employment will continue to increase till the point the economy reaches its equilibrium point. Okay, so this was the restoration. It's of only 2 or 3 lines maximum. Okay, now if AD is less than AS, if AD is less than AS means people are demanding less but there is supply, there is enormous amount of supply. Like you can see the example of COVID situation. There was supply in appropriate quantity, but people were demanding less. Okay, because jobs were not there and people have to save at the difficult situation, so they were demanding less but there was enough supply. So if people are demanding less, so what the producer will do? He will lower down the production. Okay, he will less the supply, he will he will down the production. So in order, if earlier he was making 100 units, okay, and the demand was 80 units, so the producer has to bring down the production to the level of 80. So what he will do? He will stop making the goods, he will stop making the products. Okay, and when he stop making the products, the production will come down. Okay, and if the production comes down, then employment will also come down. Okay, if the production comes down, the employment will also come down. So, and this process will continue till the economy attains this level of equilibrium, means when AD becomes equal to AS. This process will continue till that time. Okay, and a person will not do this. Economy will automatically do this adjustment. Okay, there is nobody will stand in the Qutub Minar and he will shout that let's readjust the economy. Nobody will do this. Economy will do this by itself. Okay, so this is the first approach here, AD and AS approach. So this question might be asked in 2 or 3 marks. If this question is asked in 2 or 3 marks, then only readjustment will be asked. Okay, not, you don't have to make the table, diagram, etc. But if this question comes in the long answers, 5 or 6 marks, then there is possibility that you have to make the diagram, table, observation and the restoration process as well. So you have to you have to see at in how much marks this question appears, in how much marks this question is asked. Okay, so this is the first approach, AD and AS approach. You can take the screenshot here, okay, of this. First you have to make the table, okay, then you have to make the diagram, then you have to write these observations, and then at the last you have to write the adjustment process. So this is the order in which you have to write. Okay, you can take the screenshot here, and in the next class we will do the IE and S approach. Okay, so let's see this question. When AS is more or less than AD, so we have already studied this, understood the process. So what you will do, if AS is more than AD, there will be unplanned increase in inventory of goods. Okay, means the supply will be more. Okay, so the firm has to cut the production until the equilibrium is attained. Okay, so this is the question, type of question which might asked in your 2 marks. It will not come in 4 or 5 marks, it will come out 2 or 3 marks, maximum 2 marks. Okay, so you have to, this adjustment is very, very important. Okay, so that's all for today, and in the next class we will understand the I and S approach.